Ever heard the one about the pharaoh who conquered all of Egypt, claimed the throne, and then just walked away? No, this isn't some myth. It's the absolutely incredible true story of a king from the south who completely reshaped one of the world's greatest empires. This is the story of Piye. And you know how we know all this? From this exact stone. It's called the Victory Still of Piye, and it's basically his autobiography, carved into a single, massive slab of granite for all time. On it, he tells us, in his own words, how he, a foreign king, managed to launch an invasion and bring the whole of mighty Egypt to its knees.
So, who was this guy who had the nerve to etch his own epic legend into stone? Well, it's time to meet our conqueror.
Okay, so his name was Piye, and here's the kicker. He wasn't Egyptian. He was a Kushite king from Nubia, which was this really powerful civilization down in what we now call Sudan. This is the man who would go on to found Egypt's 25th dynasty, often called the Nubian dynasty or the dynasty of the Black Pharaohs.
And what's really fascinating is where he ruled from. See, once he conquered Egypt, he didn't pack up and move to a fancy Egyptian capital like Memphis or Thebes. Nope, he ruled the entire kingdom from his ancestral home, his capital city of Napata, way down south in the heart of Nubia.
So, you're probably asking, why would a Nubian king even want to invade Egypt in the first place? Well, to get that, you gotta understand what was happening just north of his border, and to put it mildly, it was a total mess. The unified, glorious Egypt of the past? Yeah, that was long gone. In its place, the country was just this fractured land. It was like a patchwork of petty kingdoms, all ruled by these squabbling local kings, and every single one of them was trying to grab power. This created a huge power vacuum, just waiting for a strong leader to step in. And that brings us to the two main rivals in this whole drama. Down south, you've got Piye. He's a really devout follower of the god Amun, and he already controls Upper Egypt, which, remember, is actually the southern part of the country. Then up north, you've got his big rival, Tefnacht. He's a powerful ruler who's busy building a coalition of kings in the Nile Delta, trying to unite Lower Egypt under his command. You can just see it, right? These two were on an absolute collision course. The whole thing finally blows up when Tefnacht makes a really bold move. He sends his army south and puts the city of Heracleopolis under siege. Now, this city was a key ally of Piye's. Its ruler sends this desperate plea for help. So now Piye has a choice: stand by and watch his friends get crushed, or go to war for the soul of Egypt. But here's the thing you have to understand about Piye. For him, this wasn't just about politics or grabbing more land. No, he saw this as something way more profound. In his mind, he was launching a holy war.
And you don't have to take my word for it. These are his own words right off the stele. He's basically saying, listen up, I'm on a divine mission. I'm the true king, the living image of a god, and I'm here to set things right. This gives you a crystal clear window into his mindset.
And this wasn't just talk. He actually ordered his entire army to ritually purify themselves before they marched into battle. He made huge offerings to the great god Amun, who he was convinced had given him the green light for this whole campaign. For Piye, this was a sacred duty. And that divine mission translated into a military campaign that was, well, stunningly successful. He sails north, he completely shatters the siege at Heracleopolis, and then he just starts rolling up the country. After a tough 5-month siege, he takes Hermopolis. Then he conquers the ancient capital of Memphis itself. One by one, the northern kings just give up. Their whole coalition just crumbles before the Nubian advance. So, just like that, Piye had won. Total victory. The entire land of Egypt was now his. The big question is, what would he do with his incredible prize? This scene right here, this detail from his stele, it captures that ultimate moment of triumph. You can see the defeated kings of the Nile Delta, including his old rival, all bowing in submission to their conqueror from the south. He had actually done the impossible. So, the prize is his for the taking. The dual crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, all the power, the wealth, the glory of being pharaoh. What would any conqueror do next?
He left.
I know, right? It's the most incredible twist in the story. After achieving total victory, after watching his enemies bow before him, Piye just loaded up his ships with the spoils of war, turned around, and sailed back home to Nubia. For him, the mission was accomplished. He would rule Egypt from a distance, but he would never come back. Okay, so that shocking decision leaves us with a huge question. What was his legacy?
I mean, if he didn't even stick around, what did his conquest actually accomplish?
Well, his impact was enormous. For starters, he founded the 25th Dynasty, uniting Egypt and Nubia under one ruler for the first time in ages. And while he went home, his successors, they finished the job, cementing Nubian control over all of Egypt. And maybe most importantly, his reign shined a massive spotlight on the deep, interconnected history between Egypt and the powerful African kingdoms to its south.
You see, Piye's heart was always in his homeland. He poured the resources he got from Egypt into huge building projects back in Nubia, like revitalizing the Great Temple of Amun at Gebel Barkal, which you can see right here. This was the spiritual center of his world.
So it should come as no surprise that when he died, he wasn't buried in Egypt's famous Valley of the Kings. Nope, he chose a pyramid in el-Kurru, a royal cemetery back in Nubia. He lived, he ruled, and he died as a Nubian king, who just also happened to be the pharaoh of Egypt.
And his burial reveals one final, really unique detail about the man himself, a detail that's all wrapped up in the number 4.
He was buried with his 4 most prized horses, each one standing in its own stall, facing south towards his homeland. Now this was an ancient tradition, but it was one that hadn't been practiced by a pharaoh for over 500 years. It was like his final statement of his own unique identity, a horse-loving Kushite warrior, right to the very end. You know, for centuries, Piye's incredible story was buried. His stele was just an unread rock. It's a powerful reminder that history is just full of these forgotten conquerors and unexpected heroes. His story was found because it was written in stone. It just makes you wonder, how many other histories are still out there, just waiting to be read?